Welcome to the Fallen State. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. I have with me Steve Hill, a comedian, former U.S. Marine Sergeant, and California State Senate candidate for District 21. Steve is an atheist who is fighting to take God out of the public square. Thank you for coming, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Did you grow up an atheist?
As far as I can remember, from approximately the age 8, I think that's when I made a conscious decision that I wasn't going to be following a religion.
Were you raised by your father and mother?
Correct.
You were raised by both. And were they
Both.
Christians or atheists?
My mother was Baptist. My father, I'm pretty sure, was an atheist. He wasn't in church very often, and he never spoke of, believing.
What made you decide to make that decision? What caused you to come up with that decision?
I actually think it was when I attempted the very first time to read the Bible, and I noticing that the words and the terminology and the verbiage wasn't modern day.
And so did you talk to your parents or anyone about that?
No, you didn't question. You didn't, especially at the age of 8, you don't question in an African American family whether you want to believe in God or not. So you just play the game. You play your role as a kid. You go to church like your mother tells you to.
So you were aware at the age of 8 and on that you were faking Christianity or being a Baptist until you're old enough to get on your own.
Correct.
You knew you were
Correct.
faking it. Really?
Correct.
And
yeah.
did you
And I
tell
wasn't really faking it. I never did believe anything. When I was sitting in church, I was thinking about hunting or fishing. I wasn't thinking about, all the stuff that the preacher was up there telling everybody.
So you don't believe that there is a God at all? There is no God?
Until someone gives me proof of a God,
Right.
I will say that there isn't one.
Where do you get your values from?
From me.
From me?
From that
you?
that you have it too, that little voice that's in your head that tells you,
And you
I have
get-
common sense. Everybody's born with morals, common sense, ethics, your life experience dictate.
And so you say you get them from that little voice in your head?
Correct. And everyone has that that's my God, is that little voice in my head that says, no, I'm not going to inflict pain upon another human being because it's wrong.
And where's that voice coming from?
My head, my consciousness.
So,
My brain activity, that's where it comes from. Everyone has it.
so your brain activity has a voice?
Yes,
And
it's
it
called my
talk-
consciousness.
and-
And I have a high level of consciousness.
And so does this voice speak words to you?
Yes, it does.
It talks to you. So
it
your
speaks,
brain's...
It speaks to me. It tells me what's right, what's wrong. It tells me it's full of common sense.
So your brain that causes your body to function has a voice to you, and it directs you with words about moral values or about values.
Correct.
And your brain's created this voice.
Correct.
That's amazing.
It sounds amazingly just like my voice.
It sounds like yours?
Yeah, it sounds just like my voice.
Do you believe there's evil or the devil?
Do I believe there's the devil?
I know you don't believe there is a God. Do you believe there's a Satan?
Yes, of course there's a Satan.
So why do you believe there's a Satan but not a God?
Because Satan is real. Evil is real.
But good is not?
No,
Good is not real?
no.
But evil is real?
Correct.
And are you a good man or an evil man?
I'm a good man.
How are you good if you're not getting your goodness from God?
Because I don't believe in God.
But how are you good then?
I get my goodness from Satan.
But you just said Satan is evil.
Okay. He's not evil all the time.
He's good.
Is God good all the time?
Yes.
If God is good all the time, could you explain slavery to me?
God is good all the time.
Well, could you explain slavery to me?
Man is in a fallen state, and they created slavery. God didn't have anything to do with that.
So God didn't have anything to
Matter
do
of
with
fact,
that.
they were influenced by your God, Satan.
But, okay. So God didn't have anything to do with slavery.
No.
Right?
Right.
And that was all on man?
Yes. Influenced by evil.
Okay, but if God, he's an all-knowing God, correct?
Yes.
So he knows that slavery is going on, but yet he fails to intercede or to stop it. We're all God's children, supposedly. Why come he couldn't say, those children need to let those children go?
Well, we're not all God's children. Some
We're not
some
all
people
God's
are
children?
of Satan. Such as yourself.
What about the Islamic people? Is that the same God as the God you worship?
No.
No, it's a different
No,
God?
it's a different God.
So,
I wanna,
out of the million people that study Islam, their religion is bad because his God isn't equal to your God?
the God that created us all, us all, is a God of all love all the time. Apparently, the Islamic or Muslim God is not.
He's
they
not.
believe in
So
cutting
you're-
your head off and restricting women and carrying on if you don't go along with them.
Ever heard of the Dark Ages?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let me ask, have you, growing up an atheist as a young person, was it hard being an atheist? Because you're right in that black people would not have accepted, it's like, it would have been like saying you're homosexual or something in
Correct.
those days.
Correct. You'd
Was
be
it just
ridiculed
saying-
just on that same basis. Yeah.
So did any of your friends, black friends or family members knew that you were an atheist at the time?
Not particularly. The really good thing about growing up is you really, except on Sunday, you really didn't have to talk about it.
That
we
is
didn't,
so
We didn't
true.
discuss. We played. We went to school. We fished, hunt, rode bikes, and all of this was done without discussing religion.
And you're right about that. We went to church on Sundays. After that, we didn't discuss religion and
Right.
who was saved by God and who was
Right.
not and all that.
Right. You might have choir rehearsal
Right.
on Wednesday,
Yeah.
but other than that, no, it wasn't really brought up.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
You're married for how long?
I've been married for 17 years.
Oh, really? And this your first and only
Yeah,
marriage?
this is my second marriage.
Do you have children
Yes, I do. I have 4.
with the first and second? Or?
Yeah, I have 2 girls set from each one. Yes,
And
they
so are they atheists as well?
2 of them are. 2 of them are not.
And did that come from your influence?
My 2 younger ones, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that came from my influence. The older 2 are influenced by their mother.
Their mother is a Christian?
I would say so, yes.
And so they believe in God, where the 2 other ones believe there is no God because of what your influence.
Correct. I'm raising them using reason and logic and common sense.
What made you decide to raise them in that way rather than allowing them to make their own decision once they became old enough to make it?
Oh, it's been a process. We've always told them that they have a choice. They can make their own decision, but then we expose them to how we think about it. If they ever have any questions, we would say, well, you think about it. Why wouldn't God circumvent the need to have a children's cancer ward if he had the power to change it?
Is cancer evil or good?
Cancer is evil, of course.
So your God created cancer then?
So
Satan.
my God created cancer.
Because your God is evil, right?
Yes, of course. So sure, cancer must have
why
come from
not
my
give
God.
the credit to your God for creating cancer? Because you said it is evil, your God is evil. Why did he create that?
I can't understand. I have no idea.
He won't tell you why?
No, but now
Do you
what?
communicate with Satan?
Never.
Do
Never.
you pray to Satan?
Only twice a week.
You pray to him?
Mm-hmm.
And when you pray to him, what do you say?
I pray that we get out of this evil world that we call life. If God was so omnipotent and strength, why wouldn't he get rid of the devil?
Did get rid of him?
So why does he still exist?
Because he needs to exist for a while longer.
For a while
so
longer?
that
How's that?
people like you can learn.
2025?
Yeah.
When does he expire? Does the devil expire?
You see. But let me ask you this. Are you the head of your wife?
No, my wife and I are equal.
You're equal.
Yes, we're equal.
In what way?
In decision making, in the bond that we share together called marriage.
Why did you divorce with your first wife?
I believe it was because I got married too soon.
Did you cheat on her or something?
No, she cheated on me.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, but
And why would she cheat on you?
probably because we got married too soon.
That's what she said.
No, just going back and analyzing the situations and conditions that we existed in. It's like it was probably not a good decision to be married at such a young age.
If you're not the head of your wife, who protects your wife spiritually? Because the role of a husband is to protect his family, his wife, his children, spiritually, financially, to lead the way, to be that example so that they can see the right way to go.
Why can't we do that together? I mean, does that come from the Bible also, that I'm to lead my wife? I'm to be like the Lord of my life, my wife, a ruler? No, we're equal. We do things together.
So she has no one to lead her and guide her and protect her.
She doesn't need anyone to lead her and guide her. She has a master's degree from UCLA. She's very smart. She's a teacher. She doesn't need a leader. She'd like to get
And
married.
so are you the head of your children?
My children listen to me.
Are you the head of them?
What? Maybe I don't understand. Maybe you need to define head.
As Satan is the head of you, are you the head of your family?
Am I the head of my family?
Yes.
I wouldn't say I'm the head of my family.
Was your father the head of his family?
No, I wouldn't say he was the head.
Okay.
I saw him and my mother take equal parts in raising us.
You're patterned after your father then?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
So you're running for state senate, District 21, I believe?
Correct.
What made you decide to run? Why are you running?
Because I actually felt like I didn't have a voice in my own community. Nothing stings like being discriminated against by your own people. So I
What
felt
did
like
they
I
do to
didn't
you?
have a
did
voice
they-
in my community. Well, I'm a former state prison guard. For 10 years, I worked at 2 different maximum security prisons.
Wow, I can see you doing that. Keeping everybody in line.
Yeah, there. You just said a key word there. Safety and security of the institution was my
Yeah.
job. And they had this program. It was being run out of a church where one of the schools in Antelope Valley were having trouble with the black and Hispanic inmates fighting each other. So I heard about the program and I thought, wow, I could use my talents there. They could use my assistance. And I went out there and we spoke and we had good communication and we talked about the positive things we could do. So after we spoke and the meeting cleared up, you know, they grabbed my hand and started praying. Everybody bowed their heads. You know, I didn't say anything. I just went along. And afterwards, though, I spoke to one of the leaders and informed him that I wasn't very religious. I was just here to try to help the children.
Right.
Well, after I went back home, they never called me back again, which kind of made me upset. It's like, wow, you guys, just because I don't think like you think, you would lose someone with my talent and professionalism and leadership to deal with the kids. You would rather see me walk away because I don't think like you.
So you felt they had discriminated against you based on religion?
Blatantly.
And what's wrong with that? If they are a Christian organization who believes in God and believe that God is the way out of this hell that these kids are going through, why would they bring in an atheist? It doesn't make sense. Most Christians believe that Satan is the problem, that he's influencing the kids in a negative way. Why would they bring in an atheist to work with them if they're a Christian?
Our schools are public. Those are public funds, tax-paying dollars. When you pay taxes, they don't ask you what religion you are. So this is why we need a separation of church and state. Now, would they be also telling everybody, all the children, how great that their God is? And would they be like recruiting them to come to their church?
Well, I can't speak for that particular
they shouldn't
group,
be.
but
That's why
what-
there's a separation of church and state. That's why the way I think in my religious orientation
Right.
shouldn't make a difference in the program. The main objective was to keep the black and Hispanic kids from fighting each other.
So atheism is considered a religion, right?
No,
It's not a religion?
no,
Oh.
no.
Let me ask,
the
why did
definition
you,
is the
instead, you
non-belief
knew,
of a deity.
you knew beforehand that once they found out that you were an atheist, that they were not going to take you in as a part of their group. Why did you even bother to go there?
No,
And then
no.
why do you go around them and do your own thing at the
No,
school?
actually, I was giving them a benefit of a doubt. So I went to the church thinking that no, they wouldn't be discriminatory. They
But
would
you
look
had-
at the
but you had
program
to
and they would
realize-
accept me no matter what.
I know, but you had to realize your thinking was wrong then. You were not thinking straight.
I wasn't
Because
thinking straight.
I made the
I'm
mistake
thinking
of-
of trying to help children.
I made the mistake of hiring an atheist. I would never do that again. And so
Just because they're an atheist.
No, not just because they're an atheist, but because they have no they can't be trusted.
Atheists can't be trusted?
They have no foundation of love and honesty and truth to stand on. And so an atheist would do whatever the atheist feel like
So
doing.
you're sitting here basically
Well,
telling me I have no
well, I don't know
love,
about you,
no
but
trust.
the ones
Well, I'm
that-
an atheist, sir.
The ones I've dealt with. But
I'm
my
an atheist.
point is, if I'm a Christian and I know that a person admits that he or she believes in Satan, why would I want to work with that person on a daily basis, knowing that?
Why would I want to work with
because
you?
they need.
Knowing that you believe in a God
Right,
that you
and I
can't
would-
present to anyone.
I would understand that. I wouldn't take it personally. I wouldn't think it's wrong for you
And why
to
can't we treat each other
discriminate.
as human beings?
But I'll treat you well, but I just wouldn't let you minister to a group of kids who I know are already having problems with Satan. And so I'm going to bring the son of Satan to talk to them. Doesn't make sense. But anyway,
Wow.
that's why you're running, right? Because you want to change that.
Yeah.
But you're going to be discriminated against them.
Me discriminating against someone?
You're going to discriminate against the Christian. You
No,
just said
no.
it's
That's
discrimination
that's
wrong.
the thing about atheists. We don't discriminate.
It's discrimination wrong.
Discrimination is wrong.
It is wrong?
In all contexts.
And so-
yes, discrimination is wrong.
But you want to have religion. I read that you want religion out of the public square, right?
Correct.
Is that discrimination?
Discriminate depends on. Now, if you put up,
Depends on
if you're
what?
the mayor,
If you want to remove religion from the public square,
right?
is that discrimination?
No, that's not discrimination.
Why not?
That's part of the founding fathers' proclamation, because we have a separation.
You're
sir,
not being honest,
of
Mr.
church
Atheist.
And church and state.
See, I told you.
You keep the church and state separate.
So you want to?
So that's not being discriminatory.
Why? Why not?
Okay, will it be? It would be
Why not?
discriminatory
Tell
if
me
I was
why not.
if I was saying we want to keep Allah out of our government.
No.
Now that would be discriminatory. If I say we want to keep Christ out, that would be no. We want to keep religion as a whole out of our politics.
But why?
Why? Because everyone does not think the same or have the same beliefs.
And as a result, you want to discriminate.
No.
Right, because they don't have your same
No,
belief.
you're twisting words worse than Donald Trump up here, sir.
No, I'm not. Do you support transgender men and women going into bathrooms and showers and dressing rooms of choice?
Yes, I support them. They should have the right to go into any bathroom that they feel their orientation dictates.
So if a man is walking down the road and he decides, you know what, I just feel like a woman.
But see, that's being disingenuous
And
with the
he
whole
said,
with the whole
No,
conversation.
I'm not. No,
Yeah.
it's real. And he said,
Yeah,
oh, I need
you don't
to
just
go.
walk down the road. This is a process.
I know, I understand,
most of
Bob.
these people from a very early age, and it's documented and researched, most of these human beings from a very early age have an identity for their sexual orientation. Now, it may not fit.
You know where that influence come from?
No, sir, but you're going to let me know.
Your father, the devil.
The father, the devil. Okay, of course. Where else would it come from? The devil.
So this man walking down the road, all of a sudden he just feel like a woman. And now he needs to use the bathroom.
All of a sudden, he feel like a woman.
Right,
Okay.
he needs to use the bathroom. There's a bathroom over there. He goes over and he walked right into the woman's bathroom. Your daughter is sitting there using the bathroom. How would you feel about that?
My daughter's sitting there using the bathroom. She's going to be done in a second.
No, I
She's
said,
not
how
going
would you personally feel about that? This man walking in there, right, looking at your daughter.
Now, see, you guys,
He got to look at her, she's sitting there.
This is what religious people do.
No, how would you feel
I would
about
assume
that?
she's sitting in a stall with the door closed.
Not all bathrooms have stalls, but how would you feel about that?
He's standing there looking at her.
Uh-huh.
Why wouldn't he be using the restroom what he came in there
But he's
for?
still going to be looking around. He's not going to sit
Oh,
there and
he's
close
gonna
his
be
eyes.
looking around.
The question is, how would you feel about that?
I feel fine. I raise my kids to be very intelligent. Why is it always the religious people that feel they have the moral right and the justification to go in and decide what you should do in your bedroom and what you should do in the bathroom?
So you taught your daughter to be intelligent enough to sit there on that stall while this man is sitting there using it and looking at her.
My
and
children
you
are
as
very
a father
intelligent.
wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Wouldn't have a problem with it at all.
How about if your daughter just finished PE in high school? She's in the 10th, 11th grade, and there's some guy in the same class, and it's time to take a shower. This guy said, oh, I feel like a girl. I want to take a shower with the girls. They all go into the girls' bathroom.
Okay.
And the boys and the girls getting naked, getting into the shower together. Would you be okay for your daughter going through that process?
I'd be fine with it.
You know why I'm not surprised? Because Satan is your father.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
Hi, Dad.
So there are no limits, except for good, there are no limits as to what Satan will have his children to do.
As human beings, we need to apply common sense, dignity, and respect to all of these potential situations that you're speaking of.
How about the respect of the men and women who are not for that? They don't want a man or a woman walking into their showers.
Well, that's why it's a
into
democracy.
Their bathrooms.
This is why we have a democracy and a
What
Supreme
about
Court.
the respect for those people?
They have rights, of
Should
course.
they be
They have
treated-
rights too.
but
They have
should
the
they be-
right to not concern themselves with what goes on in the privacy of a bathroom or a bedroom.
Should they be respected?
Everyone's rights should be respected.
And so when
but
out
there's
of nowhere
certain
you
things
got-
that
when-
you get out of your Bible.
When out of nowhere the government create this rule that you can use whatever shower or bathroom you want to, just impose on the folks who disagree with that, are they respecting those people?
Everyone's rights should be respected.
Are those people being respected who disagree with that?
Yes, they're not being disrespected,
Why is that?
because what happens in the privacy of a bathroom?
It's not a bathroom is a public place.
A bathroom
If
is a
it's
public
outside
place.
of your home.
So
it's
take a
bathroom-
camera into a bathroom. See how
Well, you know
see how it
already-
goes for you.
You know that's already happening with these so-called transgender people, right? Do you believe transgender is a mental illness, or you think Satan?
I believe religion is a mental illness.
So would you have a problem with your wife shower with a man in a? Your wife go to the gym?
Yes, she sure does.
She works out, right?
Yes.
And let's say there's some guys in there who say they feel like women, even though there's no proof, but they just say
They just feel feeling feminine today.
right.
Want to go in and
because
take
they
a
looked
feminine
over
shot.
and they saw your wife and she was so fine.
She's
So
beautiful.
she probably take Pilates and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And they said, "Wow, I feel like shower with the women today. I feel like a woman." Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Be absolutely fine with it.
So you're not even there to protect your wife from
Because I know my wife.
from the invaders.
How would they be invaded? They're transgender. We're talking about transgender people.
What
We're
is a
not-
transgender to you?
To me,
Uh-huh.
it's someone who was born with the anatomy of the opposite sex. And it could happen. The chemical makeup in the brain, the research determined all of this, that they actually identify as the opposite sex.
Black Lives
Not-
Matter. You heard of Black Lives Matter? I'm rushing
Yes,
a little
sir.
because of time.
Yes, sir.
It's a radical, agitated black group of people. How do you feel about them?
Well, they call Martin Luther King radical also.
How about Black Lives Matter?
I think it's good to see the youth stand up and be active. Working 10 years at 2 different maximum security prisons, I can tell you that the prisons in California are full of blacks and Latinos.
Right.
African American males make up only 6% of the state population, but we make up 46% of the prison population.
Why so many in jail, in prison?
Why? Because of our capitalistic society. You have hyper segregation in these urban areas with no jobs, no opportunities, very little hope, and then you expect for them to,
So you
not
like-
survive.
so
They're
you're
doing
saying-
crimes of survival.
You're saying that they're killing each other like this. In Chicago, it's gone up 80% since the police backed down. You're saying they're doing it because of capitalism?
No, I'm saying they're doing it out of a lack of opportunity. If those same young men had education and jobs,
Right.
they wouldn't have to look at the gang or the drug route. They wouldn't have to. That wouldn't be their only option.
Let me
Let me
tell you
ask you something.
this
You,
in closing.
you guys always talk about blacks killing blacks. What do we kill blacks with? With guns, right?
Yeah, that's
we
what
kill
they,
a lot of each
they
other
tend to
with
use.
guns.
Right.
Any of you guys ever asked the question, where do we get our guns at? How many African American
They
gun
steal them.
How many African American gun
They steal them.
manufacturers do we have in the United States? 0.
But
So,
what does
but-
that have to do with anything?
Where are we getting our guns at?
Let me say this to you. I was raised
No one-
on,
never- no-
one thing you don't know is that I was raised on a plantation.
You were
And,
raised on a plantation?
Yeah, down in Alabama, under Jim Crow laws. And we were restricted from living in certain areas. And blacks were poor. We never stole, we never killed each other. It wasn't happening then. We respected each other. We worked hard and did what we had to do. We went to all black school, the killing, the raping, the robbing, and having all these babies out of wedlock. There were some kids born out of wedlock, but it wasn't like it is today. And blacks had less opportunity then than they do now. So how do you explain that it wasn't happening then, but it is today?
I'm gonna explain it like this. You're saying blacks do all of this. Did you know that Latinos have children out of wedlock? Did you know that whites have children out of wedlock? You're pigeonholing a whole ethnic group
Not
into
all,
everything that's wrong.
Not all, but
Yes,
most.
Yes, you are.
Not all, but most.
You have any stats?
But we brought up.
Can you Google some of this that you're talking about?
We brought up black people about Black Lives Matter
Correct.
when we talked about Black Lives Matter. I gotta ask, when Black Lives Matter were chanting, what do we want? Pigs in the blanket. What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them? Now, marching in New York. Did you agree with that?
No, I didn't agree with that, but
Was
that
that
not
wrong?
Black Lives Matter.
Yes, it was. Was
No,
it
wasn't.
wrong?
They were not active members of Black Lives
Was
Matter.
it
Those
wrong?
are people
No,
that joined the
no,
parade.
No, it wasn't. It's Black Lives Matter, buddy.
No.
Did you agree with that?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I'm a former peace officer myself.
You better say that.
I'm a former peace officer myself.
It was just discovered that one of the fundraisers of Black Lives Matter and a member of the organization was, raising all this money for the organization,
Correct.
while at the same time pimping out a 17-year-old black girl.
Okay. You're looking at me like that's my fault.
What do you think about that?
But that's horrible.
Is it evil?
Who would do that?
A Black Lives Matter guy.
Okay. But what does that have to do with Steve Hill?
But you like Black Lives Matter. You think that this group is a good
Think it's
group, and
good.
it's not.
Well,
Is
what do
it
you think about the
evil
Ku Klux
as you
Klan?
say?
The Ku Klux Klan is a Christian organization.
The
What do you think
same
about
thing
them?
as Black Lives Matter. They're no different. Do you believe in the Constitution?
Yes, I do. Yes, sir.
Well, the founding father, John Adams, said, our Constitution was made only for moral and religious people, and that it won't work to govern any other type of people. Our founding fathers believe the same.
Can I pull up a couple of quotes from Thomas Jefferson now?
What do you have to say?
Because he says something contradictory
What do you have to
to
say
that.
about that?
I say our founding fathers, most of them wanted a secular government, and that's exactly what we have.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, I'd love to come back.
Oh, we'll have you back.
Oh, good. Beautiful.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
And thank you for tuning in, folks.
Fall addicted to the sacred place. This ain't a dream, I can't escape. Molars and fangs that are picking up bones. Spirits moaning among the tombstones. And at night when the moon is bright, someone cries something ain't right. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery.